The Disrupt Education vlog can be found on YouTube. To hear it in podcast form, search Disrupt Education on any of the following podcast platforms: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Spotify, or Stitcher. All right. Welcome to this episode of Disrupt Education. I have Desire here, and oh my gosh, we're going to tell some stories about education, motivation, moving, making things happen. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your craft is right now, what you're doing.
So I'm Desire, as previously stated. I'm a rapper, producer, singer-songwriter, engineer, and I've been doing this for about 3 years and making music and just putting stuff out for myself and doing artwork and all other various things and performing for people and doing that whole thing. So just trying to, be the biggest artist I could be and move as many people as possible.
Tell us a little bit about that journey. We were just discussing right before we started the vlog and podcast about, okay, I've been doing this for a while on the grind. How did this whole thing start? Where did this come from? Where did the creativity start to evolve? And it might be from birth. I don't know. You tell me.
Nah. My mom likes to believe it. I feel like now, just because I guess I started to butterfly or come into my butterfly. I feel like, and that's what I've called it, just because I felt like I was in a chrysalis for so long, and I was just waiting to open my wings and kind of do what I wanted to. But I knew that at a young age that I wanted to write and stuff, and that I just wanted to be good with words. I remember for my mother, what she would talk about was the Valentine's Day cards that I would write her, because my Valentine's Day cards would be really clever every year, for my mom, and it just evolved from that into me writing my own little raps and poetry and stuff in my a journal that I got from my father for a birthday of mine. I think it was had to be my 9th or 10th birthday. But it was this hardcover brown book that I just kept all of my thoughts in, and I didn't think much of it. But I wrote one of my first little short raps in there, and then I stopped because I fell in love with sports, and I was a hooper for a very long time. Yeah. Then that's what it was for me, because I was man, this is great. I get to just go out and tear stuff up and don't get in trouble for it. Man. And then I did that, when I lived with my mother, because I lived with my mother for a portion of my life. And then when I was about 10 years old, 11 years old, I moved out of my mother's house into my father's. And when that happened, there was just a different set of standards. Not saying that my mother wouldn't get on me for grades, but as long as I was academically eligible for whatever sports I was in, it wasn't an issue, and I always was. Right. When I moved in with my father, though, it was not that. Okay. It was you have to have ABs, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna go D1, you're gonna look at all of these things, and which is very true, and very real. Yeah. But I felt at the end of the day, I felt just talent itself, or not even talent, but skill development and being the best player of the sport is what got you anywhere, because that's what got me anywhere. Right. You know?
Yeah, I know plenty of in the history of sports. I mean, grades weren't always there, but because they focused a lot on the sport. So I feel you on that. That's something that makes sense.
And for me, I think that it just felt like such blasphemy, just because it was 76s, 78s.
Yeah, you're not talking D's and F's here. You're mid-range.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not even failing anything. And the thing about it was I was a sophomore in chemistry. Yeah. And that's not even a sophomore level class. Yeah. And I got a 76, and then I got an 81 one time. That happened, and I was proud. And but I was only able to play basketball for a short period of time when I got to high school, because I kept getting these harder level classes because I would do well, and then they would just place you. So I'd be in APs because of the diversification thing that they have going on in schools, where they would like to have more diverse AP groups, more diverse higher academic student body levels and things like that. But I would test it in them, and I would place, and that was just a lot of manual labor. So that's really just a lot of what it was, and that takes time, regardless of how smart you are. That's just one of those things that it takes your time. And I was a student and then an athlete, and then I was in clubs,
Yeah.
and then I wanted to have a life. Like,
It's extremely hard at that age, man. I was just talking to my class about that.
yeah.
You know.
So what ended up happening though, like when I was in middle school, like, and I first moved out, I would just have to correct it, and it was fine back then, because like it was middle school, like it just wasn't that hard to keep my stuff at A's and B's, and then as I got older, it just like I would have one C, like somewhere, I would always just have like one like a perpetual C,
right,
and it wasn't like I wasn't putting the hours, because like I would stay like after practices and stuff, or I would be missing part of practice to like go get help here with Miss Catone,
right.
that I very like vividly remember, like and like sitting in the chem lab, like trying to understand how to balance chemical equations, just because like I'm trying to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's really how hard I went for it.
Yeah.
And I felt like that kind of just got overlooked, or like not cared about as much, just because my dad, like I felt like he just looked at the results and was like, okay, this is what this shows me, and numbers don't lie, and I don't care about like whatever else is going on because I don't see it, so it's not.
So there was no conversation about the journey and like how okay, this is where I'm at. I think that's essential, though.
Yeah.
So there was a breaking point here.
Yeah. And
what did that look like? Because we talked a little bit about a little trip to Miami, possibly. Yeah. How did that go down?
Well, that just didn't, like, that was just the whole trip to Miami was a big explosion, like, because before Miami even happened, I rapped for like a year.
Yeah.
Do you know, like?
So tell us about Miami, because our viewers and audience don't know. You all can listen to the other podcast with Jake Fine. What's it called? Why am I'm drawing a blank? The Initiative. Sorry about that. I want to throw a shout out to him. But that's where I found out about the story. And walk us through that, because I think that was a huge pivot in your life. Tell us about what happened, like exactly what happened in that. You were going to go down there and play a basketball tournament. And
so it was in the like I was going to go to Florida Gulf Coast. Like that's where I was going to go and go to the Florida Gulf Coast tournament with my team, Ball by Design, BBD. Shout out Casey Willwood, Coach Casey, Mike, my Coach Mike. They were just dope guys. But that was like my travel team that I hooped with. And we had made it to this tournament. And I was like geeked because we had placed it at like a tournament, like a big AAU tournament. We were gonna go travel down to like the tips of Florida and play with all these other big kids and do all these great things, hopefully that we had set out and planned to do. Like my team, they still went. And they still did well. But I didn't get to go. And like that right there, I specifically remember this. Like I remember this so vividly. Like I was like, all right, that's it. Like that, like I had it. I had it at that point. Like that's when I had it. I was like, okay, like I'm trying to make money for myself. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do when I leave high school, because I'm not into any like STEM programs.
Right.
Like, that's not something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And basketball is what I'm talented in. And I feel like if I can spend time and I can grind enough, maybe I can make a living for myself so that I'm not starving.
Yeah.
So like that's where I was in my head at the time, and then I get how important like academics is, which is why I would still like put effort and focus in it. But like if you would just help me out, like pay for a tutor here and there, something like that. But nah, we didn't have that. And like it was just like for when I was with my dad, like side of the family, or when I lived with him, it was like basketball was like a sport, and it was treated very much like that. And then when I was like with my mom over here, it felt like basketball was very much treated more like a passion and very much treated more like a focus of mine. And
there's
like
learning in basketball too, right? Like
I learned a lot of stuff through that. I learned patience. I learned teamwork. I learned like dedication. I learned focus. Like I have skills like physical ability, that I gained through sport. But all that energy that was expended pacing like in my room at 16, it like frustrated, it turned into a bunch of music that I made on this app on my iPhone 4S and Apple headphones called Rap Chat, and I would just crank out like these. They had these like pre-made beats on the app, and they would be like a minute to 2 minutes or something if you could find like good ones, and I would just find whatever it was that I liked on the app and just record right there, because that's what I had.
You put all your emotion into that. What are some of the early lyrics that you remember that was just hit that point?
It was like, I'm dashing right past her the fastest. I master my craft on behalf of something.
Yeah, I got it, man. It's old school. I get it. That's awesome, though. I mean, so then you actually, then you went into a different kind of competition.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
So I would be putting these rap chat songs out for like 6 months to a year, and just so that people could hear me and hear that I could rap, or at least I felt like it. And just because I was like, all right, this isn't gonna do it. Let's see what I can do on the rap side. But I hid it because I was so traumatized from my first dream being killed. So like I was not telling anybody. I was not telling my family. I was not telling my dad. I wasn't gonna tell my stepmom. That was gonna be worthless too. I felt in my mind because I was like, they're not gonna support this. They're just gonna see it.
Right.
And be like, okay, this is another way that this is another privilege to be taken. That's basically all I felt like. I felt like anything that I enjoyed in that house was just leverage.
Right.
And it was kind of messed up, but that's how I felt. And I just hid it for a long time, and then I met this kid named Jordan, Jordan Williams. His rap name is Pariah. He goes by Pariah561 on Instagram. But like, he had found me, and one of my other friends from school introduced me, and gave me like his Snapchat. I just reached out and listened to his music, and he had something that I just thought was so phenomenal that I had to like talk to him. And I shot him the Instagram DM, and he was so down to link, and was so just like receptive and open to seeing me and stuff. So I went over, and his place from my house was like a 30-minute drive in Florida. He came and got me. His family came and got me. Took me to their house. And we made music for a straight week. Like, we did not sleep. I'm talking like went to we like
just dug in.
No, literally, like we were up, and then like on day 7, like pancaked out and like went to sleep. Like we would go to the 7-Eleven, you know what I'm saying, like, and then just make music. To get like 7-Eleven energy drinks back to the studio, like, because he had his equipment already set up at his house at 16. We made music, and like he helped me make my first ever song that I used studio equipment for. And like I thank him for that to this day. And that song was like the song I had submitted to this competition called the Showcase Tour. And the Showcase Tour was having competitions in locations such as like Miami, Florida, and I think in Broward County. But I definitely wanted the Miami one.
Right, Miami, man. Bro, Miami. What's not like to like that?
Are you joking? So I submitted it. And I told Jordan to submit something too, and he was like, man, these competitions like whack. You know what I'm saying? Competitions. I felt the same way. But I was like, hey, I thought it was funny, like, to be completely honest with you. Like, I genuinely thought that this was like a game, bro.
Like, you're at this competition. And the game, you said you felt like a game.
I'm not even there yet.
You're not there. Okay.
I'm not even there yet. I ain't get there. You want to go there so bad. We're getting there.
No, it's okay.
I hear you. We get there. I submitted it, and I told him to like submit something too. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? But he did it. And we submitted it, and like within like I want to say like a day and some hours of like we got a message in return.
That quick?
Yes, and like an email. And
did that shock you? Because I feel like when you get something back, you're like, whoa, is this kind of kooky? What's going on?
I started laughing. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm 16, bro. Like, I have like no music that is like anything. Like what? I had to make music for the show. Like that's what I ended up doing. Like when I was at Jordan's, like we made music to perform. So we had to like not only like make and like engineer, mix, had everything finalized, and a show mix to like learn how to perform it. And that was my first performance was in Miami. My first ever performance was in Miami, Florida. Like, my first ever rap performance was literally in Miami, Florida. And I'm like, what?
It's kind of a small town to do it in. I'm just kidding.
That's how I feel. I'm like, But so they sent us the email, and the email was like, congratulations, you've been selected for the Showcase Tour. Come out and make sure that you just do this. And I'm like, I'm there. So all we had to do was submit like a flyer, some information about like where we like an address so they could like send us tickets because I would be having tickets on display that I could give out. And when I got selected for the Showcase Tour, everybody on my school hopped on, and that was really cool. Cool because like they didn't like nobody wanted to rock was out here before, and that was great. But like now I'm in the Showcase Tour, and me and my boy are going to Miami in like some weekends, and we're about to kill it in September in this competition. And so we get all of our stuff together, we make our show mix, we send it, We get our flyers out.
Yeah.
We send tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Now the competition is like via phone based, like voting wise. Like
Okay.
everybody on their phone had to vote, and that was so clutch because we're so young, and all we know is a bunch of people who spend nothing but time on their phones.
So what, were there like older rappers there too? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
so what was the age range of the people in that?
It was like there was no age range. It was like I want to say, because what we did was it was like something. And then plus.
Okay.
And then there's like 21 plus.
Okay.
And we were just like,
right.
I think we had to be like in the teenage range of whatever the showcase showcase competition tour thing that they had going on was.
Yeah.
And we get to Miami, we show up to the door, and they're like, we're the entertainment for the evening because it's at Open Stage Club, which is this bar.
Yeah.
And we're 16 at this bar. So. Yeah, and then we're the entertainment for the evening. And dude literally was like, "No, you're not." Like the dude at the door was literally like, "No."
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, I mean, you show them an email or something.
Right.
We
had to show them the verification. We were like, "Nah, bro. Like, I got the artist pass, the tickets, like the email, Joe." Like, and he's just like, all right, and lets us in, and lets us in, and we go, and we're seeing like this bar, like lights and stage, like it's a big blue, like lit up stage, DJ, like people's over there, and like drinks, and then there were some other people that went up before us. So we were like, oh, okay,
you have never done this before,
never performed in my life,
and you just how'd it go?
I killed it.
Yeah,
and I have the videos, you know, but I guess it was like my first time performing, you know, but like I always perform because like when I started like rapping, I would freestyle and stuff in the locker rooms in basketball, and or like I would do it outside of like class with friends. So I always rapped for people, but it was never to this degree. And I was like, all right, I'm just rapping for more people. And like it didn't bother me because this is what I signed up for, and like worked for. So like for me, stage fright seemed so backwards if I told myself I wanted to be a rapper like some months ago. Because don't rappers go on stage? How do you even have stage? Like I don't know. 2 + 2 just was 4 to me, and I got up there, and my boy got up there with me, and you know, we performed. Yeah, we performed our whole set. Yeah, we ended it off with this like what was it? People talk about the same old something. It's like people had like their flashlights out and was like waving it. And like I remember my friend that I was up there with, Pariah, he just ended up like speaking his soul at like the end of his verse, and that just felt so good. Nice. Like on the stage, and then people were like literally like cheering a hook with us at the end. And then I have this cool video on my phone from like 2 years ago where I'm like on the stage with the mic, and afterwards I'm like, everybody say royalty, because me and my homie, like he was Pariah, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even go by Desire yet. I think I went by Z at the time. I just went by Z. Yeah. And I'm on stage, and what we called ourselves as a collective was royalty, like kings and queens. Because that's just what we decided. Out of nowhere, out of the boom, like dang, royalty, and that happened. And then so we get off, and we like after we got everybody to say royalty, we felt like we definitely had like crowd control. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah. And we're like, we're secure in that. Yeah. Now we just have to make sure that everybody votes. And the whole time that we're on our way over there, we're like pubbing on our Instagram or our Snapchat or like anything that we have, we're like, yo, vote. Like I'm texting my mom, like calling my mom, I know
spread it out, let's get it.
All you have to do is like make sure that people just like say this to this number, and she's like, okay, and she made sure that she went crazy for me. Like I remember that, like that's what I'm talking about though. You know, it was like she wanted that for me. And I felt like she was a big catalyst in that moment, because I literally feel like I got like 30 something signatures from just like my mom and her like doing what she did, and we won. I think it was by like 8 votes or something like that.
Wow.
So it was like
close.
Yeah. It was a lot of voting, but toward the end of it, me and Jordan, like they're calling like all of the like they're taking out like all the people that place, you know what I'm saying? And they're calling names, and we ain't place. Yeah, like, we ain't place. So we're like,
oh, so, you're just thinking it's either win or we just got killed, right?
Yeah, like that's what we thought. And then we're like, so we're not hearing our names there. We're like, so why are they? Yeah. So why are they not calling us yet? Yeah. And they're like, and at the end of it, then they're like, the winner of the showcase tour, and said us. Yeah. And then if you win the showcase tour, you win $500 and a cash prize. Yeah. And you get a show that you are like the feature artist for. You get your own like promoted show.
So you're telling me your second show was actually a feature artist show?
Yeah, like I headlined it.
Yeah, right.
Type like it.
So okay, now let's go into our learning here, right? Like let's
Baby.
Right, like 16.
Yeah.
And you were just put into an amazing experience, kind of by happenstance, but things actually lined up for you.
Like I literally got the whole experience of like
you learned obviously, you know, how to the performance and how to grind because you had to put this thing together. You learn marketing, you learn networking, you learn actually what a show looks like. You learn all these things in a week's time, right?
Yeah, like literally.
So let's pull that then into the sea. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
How then would you kind of change the way, knowing what you know now, first off, if you went back and did this again, if you could talk to 16-year-old Desire, what would you change in that moment, like going back into that? I know I asked the hard questions. Nothing, yeah?
No.
Nice.
No.
Nice.
That was great. Like, I got cursed out by a Cuban man after the show, like at this gas station, because I was trying to use the restroom.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it wasn't for customers, but it was like a customer restroom, because
Right.
I just saw another customer walking there.
That's
So-
what you're
and then he was just like, yelling at the store. I'm like, hey man, I was holding on the way home. You know what? I got to go all the way back to Boca, and it's just like a 45-minute drive. But you know what? Since I can't use the bathroom, you're going to dehumanize me like that.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't change it. I just wouldn't change it. Like everything that happened had to happen the way it went. Like we had our whole friend group there at the show. That was super huge. Like Andy, Charlie, Ian, Jacob, Jordan. His brother Austin came. And his brother Austin was always like working to provide for their family and stuff like that. He was there. That was crazy. Jordan's mom was there, and that, you know what I'm saying. So
I'm hearing you got a really good, like you got network.
Yeah,
you got to put that network together.
Definitely,
right?
And we just had such like a strong like community bond. And people, I feel like people really just saw that like we were trying to do something,
right?
And that was really like what did it for us. Was like a lot of people saw that we were just positively like trying to do something and like originally generate from ourselves. And we're just so no filter about everything.
So I'm going to go back to that chemistry. I hate it. I'm sorry, chemistry teacher. I'm nothing against you, but that was my actually worst class too.
Miss Catone was like one of my favorite teachers to this day.
Yeah.
Just because she worked with me so hard and like.
But learning through the journey that you're going through right now and building and you got Spotify, you got SoundCloud, you got all these things out there that you've actually learned through experience. What would you change about like an education system? I know that's kind of a big jump, but what would, in your experience, what is it? What would be one or two big things?
Anything that I have to say about an educational system has nothing to do with my rap experience, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because that was just solely outside of that. And but I do have a lot to say about the education system though, and the things that I would like to change. And one thing that I do think that is super important, as a college student now removed, just freshly graduated, going into my second semester of college, one thing I do think that's super important was like knowing what to expect and knowing what to do when it comes to like the applicant process and getting myself into college, getting myself registered. That whole process and ordeal, I feel like should be something that we focus so much more on learning and like making sure that everybody's aware of and like enabled to do before they leave.
Right.
As opposed to like when we're getting ready to leave, because now we're having to do all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Like it was literally what I had to do for like, you know what I'm saying, my Miami show. I was literally having to learn how to make the music that I'm performing before I perform it in like
1 week.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the same thing. That's how it feels like as a senior. I feel like I was learning like the applicant process while I'm trying to do it and sending out all these, like I should know that already. Like when it comes time, that's all I should just be doing, because I feel like that would just make things, like just that alone would make things so much smooth, like more smooth for a whole lot of people. That's like really one of the big things that I think. Another thing I think about the education system is that like specialization is very key and it's not hard to find if you just ask. And I don't think that while I understand the standards and traditional basic needs and functionality of like the traditional education system we have set in place, I also understand that like everybody feels their callings. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard for people to find that. Like, you know what you're innately into, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you gravitate towards, even if you don't specifically have like the greatest, idea of what it is, maybe specific. Like maybe you're not like, I want to be an engineer off bat. You don't know that, but you definitely know you like computers, and you know that you like to use technology, and you know that you like math and science. So maybe you have a direction. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we should definitely do more to find directions for kids. Like
how do you think we should do that? How do you think education can do that?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like we should have something where it's like, what are you interested in, and not so much in the cliche way of icebreakers in the beginning of like every like, oh, what do you, because not everybody wants to openly speak about their passions, you know what I'm saying, in front of the entire classroom, because because passions can be very personal. You know what I'm saying? Passions can be something that people hold so close, near and dear to their heart. That they might not even want to share. Sometimes people are shy about their passions, you know? But when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like you should have something where you're like, you have everything on public display for people who would be interested in several different things. Like, so you have something, if you're interested in arts, please check out these places. I also think that schools should do a lot more in terms of utilizing the resources outside of the facility. I feel like in high school, everything is inside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they tell you everything is inside of it. Like everything that you have to draw from is inside of that. And, and if you just literally like went to downtown, there's like, you can record for free. I bet you nobody in OP knows that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that. At least like the younger kids, I want to say. Get this mic off the chair leg, but you can literally go to Harold Washington Library and record for free. No joke. You rent out the time, you rent out the space, and that's how Chance the Rapper recorded Acid Rap.
Oh, really? I didn't know. It's a little history.
In Harold Washington Library. Like, people don't know about these resources, you know, and they say that like use the OP studio, and the thing about the OP studio is I was a rapper in there, like already trying to do what I was trying to do. And like the studio will be shut down every other week because some other, like, you know what I'm saying, jack around like wanted to mess it up for everybody else, and that doesn't have anything to do with me, but this does, and I still can't use the equipment. But like I didn't know anything else, so like it would either be on a whim to a homie's crib, or I was back to doing what I was doing on my iPhone with Apple headphones.
Do you think there's a way, in addition to those resources out there, because there are, I totally agree with you. The school is very closed off. Many schools, the newer innovative schools that I'm hearing about are all about the community. Like it's an open door. Let's work to and fro and all that. When people, like, how do you connect with people? Is there a way in schools that people can actually connect with students as well as resources? Because people are resources, right? I mean,
the best thing I can really tell you is, because there's no how-to manual on how to be a good person, is just be genuine. You know, like people will open up and speak to you if you're genuine. That's how I made any relation. Like before anything was anything for me rapping, I just had good connections and good friendships. I just like was a cool people with everybody. Like people just liked Zaire, and that was fine. And then when it came to me actually like putting out content and and go grinding and putting in work, and then putting all this stuff on display that looks pretty, then people were really wanted to rock with it, because like, I already like Zaire, he's cool. Like we already had this conversation. He wants to, like, you know what I'm saying, help me pursue my passion or whatever over here. Why not? Like, you know what I'm saying, extend an arm to somebody that's trying to like chase a dream.
Get it.
And it just came from that. So it's like just being genuine, talking and asking questions is is the best way that I think that you will get the most done.
Right.
And it just like starting things and finishing things is another thing that I think is very, very important for when you're trying to make connections, when you're doing art, when you're doing business, when you're trying to just create for yourself and your socials or your personal life. Starting and finishing is very important, because you have to have complete and finalized good work, but you have to get yourself off the couch and do it too. Right. And that's really it. It's like if you just do it, it'll exude you, and it'll come out, and it'll manifest into what you want to be, because you get to see your errors like way faster, because you're just constantly there. You're constantly like seeing what it is that you would like different, and since you're doing it, it's not gonna be this mind. Like I don't even give myself time to think about stuff like when it comes to like art and music, because if I do, then I just bog myself out of it. And like I have to just do it, because then it'll turn itself into whatever it needs to be.
Right. Right.
And if I sit here and think about it, then I'm fantasizing on like what it could be.
Right.
And then I end up not making that anyway.
You have a very growth mindset. I mean, you do. You're just like in the moment, and that's hard to get. I think a lot of people are worried about last or this and that. And kind of going back to the story about the grades, I think that weighs heavy on a lot of people as well. Yeah. And then that kind of weighs people down and starts pulling you in different directions, sometimes away from your passion, if I'm hearing you right.
Yeah.
So
definitely. And it was like a weight. I felt like school was like personally like just a weight. And I don't so much now, because I go and I study music technology and sound production. So like, I go to school and make beats and then like go home and rap to them. Yeah. You know? So it's like that's really cool.
Yeah.
But before then, it was just like, okay, I have to do this real quick, and now I get to do what I feel like doing, and that's what I wanted to put my energy and effort into. Yeah.
So what's next? First off, where can people find you online?
Oh man, so you can find me on Instagram at DZAIRE_. I go by Desire. You can find me on Spotify at D''ZAIRE, capital D''ZAIRE on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon. You can find me on YouTube.
Yep. We'll put all that up down below the podcast on the vlog, so people can click on those. What's next, man? What's next for Desire?
So what's next for Desire is Desire's dropping again really soon.
Yeah. Just saw that on a couple posts today, man.
I'm putting some new work out. It's this A-side, B-side song that I want to put out. Just explaining like a snapshot of like where I was when I wrote the song, emotionally. Like a lot of times I feel like artists house feelings and stuff like that, and have a really beautiful display. And I feel like I'm just much more vulnerable than that, because I guess I don't care as much. Like, you're gonna know me regardless. I feel like, because like the real me will exude through conversation, and it will exude through what you hear when you hear me rap, or when you hear me talk to other people. But I'm putting this out, and I'm really excited for it. It's called You Good / Mama's Boy, and these were just like two songs that I mashed into one song.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like it's got a nice melodic tone to it, and then it's got like a happier undertone in the very beginning of it, like sonically, right? So the A-side, B-side thing concept that I'm talking about comes really solely like from production. Okay. But in both of them, I'm sad. In both of the songs. Okay. And I just felt like I was talking about like family issues and talking about like my own personal growth issues, like growing into myself as a young man, and just like things that I had to learn and things that I had to experience and all of that, like what my goals and aspirations and stuff that I would like just talked about on the song as well. It's pretty dope. I think it's something that people like should definitely listen to and absorb. I don't think this is something that you're gonna want to like turn up to, rather than you would really like to realize. And just listen to the words. But it's definitely something I feel like could be spun a lot of times. Nice. That's definitely how I feel about it. And I got some cool artwork being done for it. My man Jalen Cody. He's an artist. He draws and he has designs. He's gonna be doing like t-shirts, hoodies, and stuff. He's fire. And he's doing the cover art for me. So I'm so hyped.
I mean, you have to have like I said, I'm going to go back to, you have to have that team of people who are just around you with, they don't need to be exactly like you, but they have to have like a different piece into your passion. I'm going to ask one last question. If you are looking at or talking with or speaking with a 16, 17-year-old in high school, what's one kind of piece of advice you'd tell that young person?
If I was talking to a 16, 17-year-old in high school, I would most definitely tell them, stay on top of your academics and make sure that is a main focus like of yours, you know what I'm saying? Because I do think that is like supremely important, because at the end of the day, the numbers like trump everything just in the eyes of the public. And that stuff matters only because it gets you places so much faster. Right. That's the only reason. Outside of that, live your life and make sure that you pursue your passions. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that your passions are focused on twice as hard as your grades, though.
Yeah, there we go. We'll end it there, man. Hey,
Yeah.
this is a long time coming. I appreciate it. We got on the Disrupt Education podcast. Desire, all his stuff will be down below on the podcast and the vlog. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. We'll check you out next time on Disrupt Education.